So let me guess, you've been sitting around wondering when will the light bulb moment will hit you? When will your big passion will reveal itself and it will give you that sense of purpose that you have been waiting for and that you have been craving? You have probably tried journaling, maybe you have taken one of those online quizzes, what's your life calling? Maybe you did a personality test, maybe you checked your horoscope chart, maybe you did your matrix chart, whatever. And yet nothing feels clear. You're still stuck in this limbo of not knowing what really excites you, what drives you, or what you even enjoy. Here's the truth. Most people don't stumble upon their passion in some magical fairy tale movie-like moment. Passion isn't something that you find. It's something that you create. In this video, I will show you some practical, no BS steps to stop waiting for clarity and to start actively uncovering and discovering what lights you up inside. So let's dive in. Hi guys, I'm Andriana and welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, my mission is to guide you through the entire self-improvement journey from A to Z. So I'm gonna have dedicated playlists for each step along the way. Right now we're in phase 1 of self-discovery, where we have already tackled step 1, which is finding your core values. And now we're moving on to step 2, which is finding your passion. This channel is here with a purpose to help you through every step of your self-improvement journey, from healing to growing to becoming your highest self. What I wanted was to create a clear step-by-step process so you don't feel overwhelmed by all the information that we receive out there on the internet. My goal is to give you a safe space where everything you need for self-improvement is simple, is clear, and is all in one place. Today we're tackling a big one, which is finding your passion. I will walk you through some practical, actionable steps so you can discover what you truly love, not just what sounds good on paper, but what actually makes you feel alive. So by the end of this video, you will have clarity on how to approach this process, and more importantly, you will feel empowered to take the first step towards a more passionate and a more purpose-driven life. So let's get into it. First of all, we need to understand why you're struggling to find your passion. So let's start with why this feels so hard. A lot of us, we grew up hearing find your passion and you won't have to work a day in your life. And it sounded great, right? But this notion sets up unrealistic expectations that passion is something external, it's something magical that will come and save us, because we don't really want to struggle in our work. So when we find our passion, then we won't have to struggle anymore. And we thought that is this single magical thing that we're destined to do. But all that really gave us is analysis paralysis, because the more pressure you put on finding your passion, the harder it becomes to see it clearly. And trust me, I am one to speak for this because I have been there. For many years, I firstly thought, oh, maybe I don't have a passion, and maybe passion is just for some lucky few ones, and maybe it's just not for me. And then I thought, maybe I do have a passion. And I was thinking, okay, then maybe my passion will just show up one day like a lightning bolt and it will all make sense. So until then, I'm just gonna try different degrees, things that I'm interested at, try different jobs, I try different courses. None of them felt right. And it was until I stopped searching for this perfect passion, it was when I started exploring what actually made me curious, what actually interested me, what I actually wanted to learn more about, what I actually wanted to be stronger on. That's when things really begin to shift. Basically, you need to think of your passion like a plant. You don't find that plant fully grown. You plant the seeds, you water them, you let them grow over time. First, you need to start somewhere. The process of finding your passion has 3 steps. Okay, first step is to look back so you can move forward. What I mean is that you need to reflect on your past and ask yourself, when was the last time that I felt genuinely excited, or when I felt in the zone? What are some activities that I loved doing as a kid before anyone told me what I should do and what I should dedicate my time to? What are some topics or some activities that I naturally gravitate towards? For me, one of my first passions was writing. I remember being 10 years old, filling up the diaries that my mom gave me with my everyday thoughts, with stories of what happened, of what I was thinking, what I was feeling. And I felt like I was completely losing track of time when I was doing that. Somewhere along the way, I stopped doing that because I didn't think it was practical. I didn't think that it served any purpose. Rediscovering that passion as an adult, it wasn't easy. It really gets lost in those memories. You're thinking that, it's just something that I liked when I was a child, so it's probably childish to do now. It probably has nothing to do with my interests right now as an adult, but actually it has everything to do with it. When we're younger, our spirit is so uninhibited, we are the most us. We are the least watered down version of ourselves. So yeah, actually, if you want to see what you're naturally drawn to, look at the stuff that you did as a child that really excited you and you really looked forward in doing. So what I advise you to do is to take 10 minutes today to journal about the times that you felt most alive, the times that you felt the most engaged, the most fulfilled. You don't need to overthink it, just let the memories flow. Step number 2 of this process is to experiment like a scientist. What I mean by that is that you can't think your way into finding your passion. You have to act towards it. So here, experimentation is key. You can try something small, maybe join a class, you can volunteer, you can pick up a hobby that you have felt curious about or you felt drawn towards, and set a low risk, low commitment goal, like trying something new for 1 month. And when you do that, pay attention to how it makes you feel, not just whether you're good at it. There's so many people that they started going to the gym, for example, to just improve their physique, and through learning all the basics and through learning all the forms and the science behind it, they discovered that they have a passion towards being trainers and training people, and they love helping people have a healthy physique. All of that because they just tried something that they didn't feel comfortable starting at the beginning, but they just felt drawn towards. I remember when I first started experimenting, I tried so many things because I'm a person that I'm really genuinely curious about everything. I got my bachelor's in law, I did my master's in business economics, I got jobs in marketing, I did courses in marketing, but the truth is that not all of them stuck. But each one of them taught me something about what I liked and what I didn't like. And eventually I just found few things that really clicked. Basically, you need to think of it like trying on clothes. You won't know what fits until you try them on and see how it feels on you. You might see something on the hanger and you're like, oh wow, it looks so beautiful. When you try it on, it looks so hideous on you. Or maybe you see something on the hanger and you're not expecting much from it. When you try it on, you're like, wow, I didn't expect it to look so good on me. It's just like that. Step number 3 on this process is to connect the dots. Passion often comes from combining your interests with your strengths and your values. It's not about picking one thing, it's about finding patterns, if that makes sense. So how do you do that? Well, write down your top values first. If you don't know your core values, you can watch my previous videos that really take you through everything that you need to find those core values for you. Next thing you need to do is to list your skills and your strengths. When you have those written down, you can just see them and reflect, and you can reflect on how you can use these in ways that feel meaningful, how you can put these things that are written down in practice. For me, my passion didn't reveal itself until I started connecting the dots, until I did the final step. I realized that I loved giving advice to people ever since I was young. I loved sharing insights and knowledge. I loved learning about psychology, learning about spirituality, and I loved learning how to become the best version of myself and helping people to do the same for them. That combination is what led me to where I am today. I have to imagine it like building a puzzle. Each piece, your values, your strengths, and your interests, comes together to create the bigger picture. But you have to start by laying out the pieces first. before you start putting the puzzle together. Now let's go through some myths that revolve around the topic of passion, because a lot of times they hold us back and they limit us from acknowledging our passion. So it's time to bust some of these myths, okay? First myth is that some people say that you only have one passion. That is so wrong. You can have so many, and passions are different from interests, of course, and we will talk about this in the next video, but you can still have many passions. Myth number 2 is that you have to be amazing at it from the start, and also so wrong, because passion grows with practice. And myth number 3 is that passion, it will solve all your problems, and it won't, but it will make the journey more clear and it will make it more meaningful. So that's the point of finding it. So focus less on finding the perfect passion that everybody agrees on, and more on creating a life that is filled with curiosity, that is filled with growth and with alignment. So basically a life that makes you happy and gives you passion and energy. It doesn't have to make sense to anybody else, and most of the time it won't, but that's when you will have to put yourself first and trust that what your gut is telling you is the right thing. Because regardless of what you're gonna suffer to climb the ladder of any position, of anything, so at least suffer and struggle and be challenged to grow in something that you're interested in. For me, my passion for self-improvement is the only constant that existed in my life. And I realized that very young, but I ignored it as the way to live. So I always felt curious about finding my higher self, aligning with my higher self. And it's the thing that will forever keep me curious. It will keep me growing and evolving. And that, combined with my love to give advice to other people and helping them elevate themselves and believe in themselves to reach a greater destiny and to have an improved version of themselves, that together is what drives me. It doesn't have to make sense to anybody else, and a lot of people won't resonate with that, but it doesn't matter. Is what resonates with me and is what is clicking with me. So here's a takeaway. Passion isn't something that you find, it's something that you build. It starts with curiosity, it grows with practice, and it thrives when it's aligned with your values and your strengths. So here's my challenge for you. Spend this week doing these 3 things: reflecting on your past, experimenting with something new, and connecting the dots in your life. And let me know in the comments, what is one thing that you're curious about exploring? And remember, passion isn't about finding something that you're perfect at. It's about finding something where you are truly yourself at. That's it for today, guys. I'll see you in the next video.